Handcuffed to the massy, guys. We are finally back again for another reaction on the one and only Mystelics reaction, guys. Big up the Mystelics family one time for definitely jumping by, and of course the newcomers are there. Big up on yourself as well for PP and saying, hey, we in the building too. Come inside, brothers and sisters. Don't forget, guys, to subscribe and turn on the post notifications so you can get all the videos as they tend to come through. As well as what, giving the thumbs up button a click. Click the thumbs up button, let it shake a little, man. Let it change color. Click it, brothers and sisters. If you think I'm lying, if it don't do that, then it's not so. But click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that, guys. Definitely do so. Of course, helping the algorithm to push these videos further and further right there. Now, guys, this was actually a thing from Mass in the Cemetery that I saw. And when it comes down to Mass in the Cemetery, I think the individual who's at the back of it, I see Anderson Phillip. I don't know if that is the person right there, but whoever is behind this thing seems to know a little bit more than the usual. So far, from my understanding of listening to the articles and stuff, it seems like what they're saying is very much on par. I haven't seen anything that is kind of crazy or hasn't been the actual fact of what has actually happened already. Of course, this I think they have to work on their thing. This is mandatory. What is that? Mandatory. Anyways, Dominica's mandatory passports, an attempt to clean up the scum left behind from the corrupt passport vending business. Now, guys, I remember when Annette Sanford, yes, the Candidago representative stood up and asked the very Prime Minister about these very photos right there. We saw this from ATL and we were asking the question, what exactly is happening? The Prime Minister then refused to answer, talking about and trying to make it seem like it's crazy she was talking about. When most of Dominicans, I would have to say most of Dominicans, I'm not just talking about Dominicans in Dominica, but also those who are outside as well, we're trying to figure out what on earth is going on when we saw all these things happening. So yesterday I pointed out particular vibrations of what an individual was speaking about, the corrupt practices of the passport, or I shouldn't say, well, it can be considered corrupt because a number of persons did get our passports who were not ambassadors to Dominica, but they became ambassadors to do their own bidding, not that of the country's bidding. So I would have to consider it to be, yes, definitely corrupt right there when it comes down to the circumstance. Okay, cool. Now, on the basis of what she was asking them to explain what was going on. And they tried to sidetrack it like it's craziness that's happening, when I'm sure a lot of us saw the very thing right there. But this has been brought back to our memory or attention, this whole situation that has been taking place, as to why exactly is the government trying to get us to jump so quickly. I remember there's a commenter who stated that St. Lucia transferred their own to the e-passports, but they made sure, and that's exactly what I was saying yesterday, they made sure that the individuals with the old passports, they made sure that the passports expired, and then when it expired, they gave them the new passports. So that was an interesting scope right there. This is exactly what I was pointing out. Some individuals are thinking this is a conspiracy. When the answers is right in front of all you. Right in front of all you. You don't think there's sort of a rush to then make people want to pay money when they just previously buy the passports? I think I bought mine about five years ago. Yes, I bought mine about 5 years ago, and now they're telling me that I have to buy another passport on the fifth year when my passport has another 5 years to expire. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, logically thinking, even if you're saying it's conspiracy, logically thinking, you don't think there's something fishy about that? They want us to jump passports on one basis, and then we're seeing all this information coming out, and we're wondering what's going on. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna make my computer read this thing right there, and then we're gonna react to it from time to time. So let's get it started, man. Let's get it started. Computer, read it for me. Volume up, volume easy there. All right, let's go.
There are several videos online with evidence of Dominica passports being sold at swap meet corners in countries unknown to the average Dominican.
Exactly.
In one such video, a street hustler operating outside an Azaban supermarket in Iraq market can be seen and heard offering Dominica passports at flea market bargains.
That's it. That's one of the questions, and especially from the ALT group. We saw these things, but then we have to pretend. The government, they want us to pretend as if it's not that we see. It's joking. Nonsense you talking.
It is hard to imagine that any Dominican seeing these videos and not being repulsed by the callous desecration of our sovereign identity.
Exactly.
It also inconceivable that any government witnessing such desecration of its country's passport would remain totally silent, not even promising its citizens a swift response. Surely, it is fair game to relate the devaluation of our passports to a citizen by investment program charged with 20+ years of rampant racketeering, copious greed and corruption. Everybody sees, everybody knows, yet the scared administration cabal will take no responsibility for our passports being in the hands of passport dealers in shady corners of the globe.
Guys, that's a fact. And the interesting thing is you don't see that happening to other Caribbean countries. Did you see people in Iran selling Antiguan passports? Did you see people in the Middle East selling St. Kitts passports? Did you see that? No, but we were on the streets selling Dominican passports, and they were literally saying this, selling Dominican passports, trying to get people all over the place to buy Dominican passports. That's probably why we're in a rush. That is yet another incident right there, because a number of people are getting our passports, and most likely they are doing some kind of crowd business we don't even know about. And this is selling Dominica's actual, that is Dominica's asset. We are selling, and then some people are selling it on the black market. That's a kind of like from my understanding, that's a black market kind of vibe. Are you selling passport, somebody another country's passport outside of a supermarket? You don't find that fishy? You selling another country's passport outside of a supermarket, and then the government then staying quiet. Like I said before, guys, have you seen this happening outside? Have you seen Antigua, Grenada? Have you seen these people doing these things? I have not. And trust me, I'm affiliated to the other Caribbean islands as well, especially Grenada. Anyways, let's continue. Let me go in bits and pieces. Read that for me, please.
Now that the citizens of Dominica are being forced to do away with their machine-readable passports and to reapply for an e-passport, there is speculation that the mandatory re-application process is nothing but a desperate effort to help clean up the passport mess. That
it has to be something. It's not all the other Caribbean islands or the other countries have done it and whatnot. The other countries have done it properly. They have made the old passport fade out, so to speak, the machine-readable passport. They have made it fade out, and then they implement the new one. But why are we then forcing the citizens to do this? Why is Dominica and the Prime Minister them forcing the citizens and saying your passport doesn't work after January 31st? Why are they forcing the citizens to do this? A matter of fact, I'm sure it'll work outside there. It'll work outside, because how they can cancel that there is only when you leave in Dominica. I think there's a way you can probably bypass this, I don't know if somebody want to try this. But it's up to you. Use your license to leave the island. When you leave the island, then use your passport and tell me if the passport working outside there. I think that is one of the ways to find out right there. If I have enough time, I might do that. But let me leave that out. Anyways, let's continue.
The truth is, there is no need to speculate when the charlatan Minister of National Security, Rayburn Blackmore himself, hinted that there were concerns about the integrity of our passports.
True.
In a statement made sometime in August 2020 regarding the imposition of the e-passports, he said, "The most important aspect in our border security improvement is our migration from the machine-readable passport to our e-passport or biometric passport, which is almost counterfeit-proof."
And then people want to come and talk about conspiracy. All you want conspiracies. All you probably don't want conspiracies, boss. Anyways, let's continue right there. Read for me, please.
In August of 2020, Blackmore also stated that the sudden rush to have the e-passport instituted was because the initiative would help cultivate a watch list for persons of interest before they arrive in Dominica. It will also inform officials of passenger information, as well as cargo coming into the country. He went on to say that the e-passports will enable the garnering of incomers' fingerprints at the border and allow for the inspection of secondary information.
So doesn't all passports being sold? These were the Dominican people, by the way. These were the people in the Middle East selling the passports to other Middle Eastern people. Whoever gave them the association to do these things, maybe it was that partner, what is his name again? Of MMCE. Anthony, maybe it was the Anthony partner. that gave them the authority? Because apparently the Anthony partner is the one in charge of our passports. Where was I? Okay. Read that for me, please.
1 year later, Blackmore seemed to have shifted the reasoning for the compulsory passport reapplication process, and it now appears that the government is concerned about traveling out of Dominica without the e-passport. Blackmore even went as far as to threaten that anyone with a legitimate machine-readable Dominican passport and wishing to travel out of Dominica after January 30th will not be allowed to travel without an e-passport.
I think he's probably talking about traveling out of Dominica with the passport. Doesn't mean the passport is not going to be working. Let me know if I'm wrong, brothers and sisters. I think the passport is definitely working because I used it. I used the passport. And I remember the whole situation where they say, oh, in 2023, starting January 1st, it's $500. That was actually a rumor being sent out. And they didn't rectify it until in December. They didn't rectify it. Okay, you don't think something is happening, brothers and sisters? I always pay attention to how things go, you know. I always pay attention to how things go. And if there's, especially the media, if the media is hiding something from the public, and especially when the information is out there, but the media doesn't want to speak about it, there's something fishy going on. And there's something very fishy going on when it comes down to this thing. A lot of people are just thinking, oh, everything is fine and dandy. Everything is not fine and dandy. Or he doesn't listen.
With charlatans, the lying, the hubris and useless bravado is never scanned. In the continuous bid to gaslight the people of Dominica, they claim that the compulsory e-passports requirement is trailblazing for the region and a sign of development in Dominica. Is that not embarrassing when the very same administration in the year 2022 won't provide simple voter identification for Dominicans?
It's a. And that is very true. That is very true. We're talking about changing passports and those kind of things there. Trailblazing. But what is necessary for free and fair elections is not happening. Voter ID cards. Get voter ID cards for the people to come and vote. I mean, we voting and you need ID to identify yourself. Voter ID cards. To come and vote. So you'll have your... Yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord. Yes, sir. All right, then. Let me see what they say now. You see Grenada there. All right, let's see.
In March of 2021, Blackmore also stated we will be moving to new biometric passports in Dominica, and Dominica will be the only country, except for the Bahamas, to have those improved passports in the Caribbean, and that is development. But Blackmore would have known that the island of Grenada started transitioning to the new e-passport since July of 2018, and that the government of Grenada gave its citizens up until 2023 to have their e-passports.
So they gave them ample time then. Like some commenter stated, they also gave that to St. Lucia as well, and they allowed St. Lucia own to fade out. So why can't we allow ourselves to fade out as well? There's something happening, I tell you. There's something happening, and people don't like to pay attention at all.
No Grenadian citizen was forced or threatened into reapplying for the e-passport. In a statement from the Grenada Consulate Office in Washington, D.C., 2018, it says, "The Consulate of Grenada, Washington, D.C. wishes to inform all Grenadian nationals that the government of Grenada, Curaçao and Petite Martinique will be transitioning to the new e-passport effective July 16, 2018. A Caribbean Community Grenada passport issued under the Passports, Fees, Regulations, Chapter 226 prior to July 16, 2018 shall continue to be valid pursuant to the provisions of these regulations."
A Caribbean Community Grenada passport issued under the Passport Fees Regulation, Chapter 226 prior to 16th July 2018 shall continue to be valid pursuant to the provisions of these regulations. So when I say my thing, you think it's just for saying sake I don't say things? All you up to now, you don't find it. Guys, don't get me wrong, it's not the movement to the e-passport that is the problem, Is when they're trying to do it as quickly as possible and then putting the fees on the people to pay, even though the previous passport, machine readable passports, has not been expired. I indicated yesterday, there's a guy who bought his passport a year ago and they are telling him that he needs to buy a new passport to transition to the e-passport. Why don't you let the passport fade out? There must be something fishy going on. And the only thing I can think of is the possibility of this very thing that is happening. Of course, we know about the other guy that is under Interpol since October 2022, who was issued a Dominican passport. And then there's a guy who was speaking about the very thing, talking about which citizenship you should get when it comes down to the CBI program. And he stated that Dominica is one of the countries where this situations, where the situations of due diligence is not properly done. And that is a fact. We know that to be a fact because of the amount of criminals that have obtained our passports. The very Prime Minister himself has admitted that, saying that it's very sad. I saw the article, I read the article, and then there's a number of things. I can get all that information, guys. If you want me to do that, make this video reach 300 thumbs up. Thousands of you guys tend to watch my videos per day. Make this video reach 300 thumbs up, and I'll get all the people who have obtained our passports, the criminals who have obtained our passports. I'll get it, and I'll put it out there for you guys. Maybe you guys are blind to see what is exactly going on, but not all of us is blind. Or you can be blind if you want, but not all of us want to be blind. We want to see what is actually going on and the truth, because it's a hell of a thing when you don't know the truth. But it's a hell of a thing when you don't know the truth and then using whatever you know to be false, making it the truth, and think that it will be applied to reality. It doesn't work so. The truth doesn't change because you think something else. It will always be the truth. The truth is absolute, meaning it doesn't change.
The Grenadian consulate further noted in 2023, all passports issued by the Immigration and Passport Department in Grenada will be machine-readable e-passports, a biometric digital passport, enhanced with an embedded electronic microprocessor, which is distinguished by a logo on the front cover.
I know those passports.
This microprocessor will be used to obtain data that will authenticate the identity of the passport holder for security purposes and ease of travel.
No, when they always talking about the e-passport traveling and authenticating the identity of the individual, what have you, brothers and sisters, I'm thinking, well, a thought just popped to mind, but what I was initially thinking, doesn't the previous passport do this? So if it does, then why you transition to the e-passport? However, I'm thinking that if you're creating counterfeit passports which do not have the chip, but then again, people can hack these chips, can they? They can reprogram chips. If you're reprogramming chips to create fake passports, I think it might be a little more difficult, but it is still possible. Where there's a will, there's always a way there. Guys, when human beings come into things and when human beings want to do things, they can always change up things. They can always change up things, human beings you played with. Hey, I see. But that's always one of the things that I found very interesting. Anyways, let's continue, guys.
It is no secret that the DLP government operatives have raked and pillaged the country's passports for personal gain.
Yep.
It is the passport money that continues to pay for election campaigns, election bribery and election rigging operations. It is the same passport money that built the wealth they have attained and can be substantiated by their legal salaries.
As I'm listening to this day, guys, and they're talking about salaries. The salaries that they receive, they have to do their thing on a daily basis and what have you, pay whatever. The salaries that they receive, would they be able to get the kind of things that they are building? I mean, the Prime Minister is on his alleged third mansion he building. His third. Where you think the money coming from? Where you guys think the money coming from? I don't know. Help me understand. Where do you think the money is coming from? You think it's coming from his salary? You think his friends are so good that they give him free money just like that from overseas? They'll just give you free money. Oh, you don't have to give us nothing. We just like your presence. Look, you don't think there's a part of Dominica that is going? You don't think this whole situation involving this thing is somehow linked to that? Some of all it doesn't. Some of all. I was going to say something else, but let me leave that. because
the luxurious lifestyles, ownership of newly built hotels,
yachts, they put it on people's
and
names,
hefty offshore accounts all mysterious. Now that there is an urgent need to clean up the mess left by unscrupulous passport vendors, the burden of cost is placed on the economically oppressed citizens of Dominica.
So not only you selling the passports to the foreigners, right? You're selling passports to foreigners, whether it be diplomatic passports or be the normal passports. You selling these things. Now you're going to make the citizens them. A thought just came to mind. Because this CBI program is falling. They indicated back in 2020 that they want to transition to the e-passports. And then they're making the citizens themselves pay for it. Don't you think that we the citizens have become like the foreigners when we are buying a passport? We are buying a passport just like the others. I mean, we have to pay the 100 and something thousand US dollars or whatever for it. But don't you think we have become a part of that very thing? When we have bought our passports like 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years ago, which is still, you know, the extent for the 10 years. Don't you think we have become part of that very thing? I wonder if they give you the new passport, is it for another 10 years? Or is it for the continuation for that time and then you have to, but that would be a hell of a thing. If I bought my passport 5 years ago and then I buy the new e-passport and they tell me I only have 5 years remaining on that passport, on the new e-passport, that would be something. Boy, anarchy will start. Hey, aye, boy. Guys, you have to pay attention. Paying attention is important. Why is these things happening? That is what I want to know. Why are these things happening? There's only this speculation that we have, true. But what else when the government them does lie to us consistently?
If there is any doubt that the compulsory e-passport requirement is a desperate attempt to help restore our severely compromised passports, here is what we know to be factual. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, together with other Western countries, had been concerned about the growing passport selling business on dark market. One case of interest involved an Uzbekistani with extremist links and leaving in Turkey.
It gets better, eh? It gets better. Especially for places that we have visa-free arrangements. And the government them is screwing that up for the citizens. And the citizens then doesn't see that. They think, oh, that is urgent transition to e-passport. You're tebe. What you don't to buy?
The gentleman is offering fake passports with official visas and travel stamps to people with links to Islamic State, ISIS. These ISIS extremists are then able to use the fake passports to leave Syria and travel on towards the UK,
because
EU, Canada and the US.
We are visa free. Well, we don't have for Canada, but we don't have for Canada and US, but they can travel to UK and EU because they are visa free. So whatever they do there, then I guess they can obtain whatever, and then they travel from there and travel to the US. Sometimes I don't think we just pay attention, no? I really do think so, because some people literally think there's nothing going on.
One source with links within Department of Homeland Security noted that passports from varying nationalities are being sold in different formats, forged or even real. The physical passports are sold for as much as $15,000 US. Counterfeit physical passports are sold for as little as $1, 500.00, and according to our source, the gentleman seen peddling Dominica passports outside the Azaban supermarket in Iraq was actually from a stash of counterfeit Dominican passports distributed out of Turkey.
So why didn't the government them? They knew, we saw the video, we saw the video and they were promoting this stuff. And the government them seeing that and they not addressing that, telling the people it's fake. Man had, and they was even opening their passport saying, look, I was stamped. I bought this passport with ALT group or whatever they think. And I was stamped. I went to the UK. Look, this stamp there. Using our, only. I have multiple passports, so I okay.
This government lies because it is a lame duck administration of low men and women in high places. They lie their way from one scandal to another. But the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let it loose and it will defend itself.
But the funny thing in this day and age, guys, some people don't even know what the truth is. They don't even know what the truth is, especially when the truth is biting them in the backside. They still want to say that's not the truth. is what my PM tell me I will believe. I mean, if the whole Rona situation, that whole thing don't teach you a lesson, Magwisa. I mean, if the whole people in America, if the whole Hunter Biden situation don't teach you nothing about the news and how they don't lie to you. If Kanye West, when he came out and revealed all the people who are owning the different sectors of the social media, and these people, or they own different things, and if you were to talk against them, they said this and that, while they themselves are trying their agendas to keep things under wraps. So they are only doing things for themselves. And we see now a very prime minister doing the same thing. And a lot of us want to pretend, oh, it's conspiracy that they... Conspiracy, not true? When it bites you, you will see. Some of us good to go, come in. Some of us good to go. So pretend like, oh, nothing happening, man. No, nothing happening, man. What Mystelics saying, you know? The man was selling Dominica passports to you, and then he go in and say how much people go overseas, UK, look the stamp there, all kind of things. Happy gigi, we come back. So I never know it's counterfeit passports these people selling. No wonder. No wonder. But the Prime Minister them see this. This was sent. Annette brought this up in Parliament. And this is a security risk. And we still put back Blackmore as national security. When this was happening. And that was not too long after the Prime Minister went to the Middle East, you know. That was not too long ago. And look, the whole thing compromised. No, they compromised Dominica passport, so they want to move to the e-passport. And if that is I understand this thing, but tell the people the truth now. Tell the people the truth. Why you have to come and lie for the... Why are you lying for the people? Anyways, guys, I have another reaction to do, so let me end this thing, go and eat my lunch and come out with the other one. So enjoy this video, guys. Make this video reach 300 thumbs up, and I will get the all the people who obtained our passports and stuff on diplomatic passports and all this. No afraid, is that strong, you know. Some of all you have no clue. Or you see me doing my reactions and I some of you have no clue. Okay. Anyways, guys, give this video a thumbs up, like I said before, subscribe and turn on that post notifications so you can get all the videos as they tend to come through. And I'll see you guys in the next reaction video. Boom, bang.